Good evening, everyone. Welcome to BYJU'S exam prep. So, just a few days left for XAT, and today we are going to talk about data interpretation. Okay, so if you see the three sections of XAT, the QA section, right? So, like you get, so they've released the pattern also 26, 21, and 28. So, out of 28 questions in QADI. Okay, out of these nine are of DI. Okay, so almost you get like last year there were eight questions, last year there were nine, so approximately 8 to 9 questions of DI, three sets, which is approximately 30% of the paper. Okay, and can this prove as a game changer, right? Can you use data interpretation to clear the cutoff and maybe solve a couple of more questions or a handful of more questions and do well in the section? Yes, you can. Okay, so we will discuss that why data interpretation is crucial and which are the sets you should target. Right, all sets are not doable. Right, we'll discuss two of the sets in the last 2 years which have been a challenging sets. Okay, so which are the sets that you can target and how you can utilize this to score well in the examination. I'm sure you must have gone through past year papers and understood that XAT questions are quite lengthy. Okay, so XAT is another level. If you found quant in CAT to be difficult, then it is going to be much more difficult than that because lengthy questions, time consuming, a lot of information is contained in them. So DI acts as a savior in the QA section. Okay, provided you have good concepts of percentages, basic calculations, right, ratios, etc. So let's begin today's class. Before that, just to announce about this last lab to that, the series is going on. You can watch these classes at 7 p.m. Right. So these are the remaining classes that we have. Right. So 5 days to that, and then you have critical reasoning, geometry, numbers, and verbal logic. So these are the remaining sessions in this series. And we have launched a program for GD PI. You can enroll in the same. So let's first see the distribution for the last 2 years because these are the most relevant ones. Exactly the same pattern that you're going to have this year, right? So the pattern is going to be 26, 21, 28, 28 questions in QADI. So what are the components of the QADI section for the past 2 years? So you see that almost equal number in arithmetic, geometry, mensuration, right? So it was less of algebra and more of number system, and the things changed in 2021. More of algebra, less of number system. Okay, so apart from that, modern maths hardly few questions, and DI you see 8 to 9 questions, right? 8 questions, three sets, 9 questions, three sets. So we will see what are the topics that they have asked and like what kind of sets. We'll be discussing the difficult ones, the approach. Okay, so if you have done DI for CAT, right, that should suffice because you do not need. See, CAT DI is the most difficult, right? If you rate like of course quant, I'll rate that quant part is more difficult in that, no doubt. But when you talk about the DI part, right, if you have done CAT level DI, so there is nothing beyond that. Okay, so that is the ultimate thing, and you will get one of the sets as difficult one and two easy to moderate ones. Okay, so XAT 2020, so you should go through the papers as well. There were three DI sets. One was Venn diagram, which was an elective of subjects, right? That had two questions and was an easy one, right? The normal Venn diagram one key. There are three electives. Okay, this is a normal three set Venn diagram banta. So that was the case. So simple information was given. You had to make a three set Venn diagram based on that, overlapping regions, etc., and answer the questions, right? So it was a quite easy one. Now advantage is you solve two questions, right? In that you have lengthy questions, so you save time by solving two questions in lesser time. Now there were two more sets. One was stack graph, which was countries and GDP. I would rate it as moderate to difficult one because all data could not be found out, but still I would call it moderate, but for level of that it was a difficult set. We will do this set today. Okay, and there was a table which had revenue of 4 companies. Very easy set. Direct questions based on percentages, right? So if this is the concept of Venn diagram itself, it was based on percentages, and this stack graph was basically based on your again percentages, right, with some number based logic. Okay, so that was the case in 2020. So if we talk about 2021, right, there was a table that was categorization of shoppers, that was a moderate one. Okay, so it had basically let us just, you had to fill a table and you had to categorize them into female shoppers, male shoppers, happy, unhappy, neutral, first time, right? So based on 3 parameters, you can call it a three-dimensional table. Okay, and then there was another set which was on scatter plot, which was like, you if you know how to read a graph, you could easily calculate those values. Okay, so that was the second one, and third one was a logical table. Okay, which was a difficult one, which was like, it gave you a feel that you are doing a CAD LRDI set. Okay, it was definitely a difficult one, and we will take up this set in today's class. Okay, so this has been the structure. So you see 3 sets, around 8 to 9 questions. Okay, so now let us see that what are the advantages of DI, right? Why should you go for DI sets? Right, you should do quant section as well, but advantages is, first of all, you score in bulk. Let us say you did one set on let's say you saw some data, and let's say that was on table. Okay, you completed the table using the instructions, you filled the table, you will be able to answer 3 questions, and 3 questions correct. Okay, and less time per question, because in other questions, right, you will have to read long text. So in the same time, you will be able to read the text, and then calculation wise, if you have done once, you can answer the questions related to it. Okay, so you can try for yourself, like solve 3 different quant questions and try to solve a DI set. You will definitely find that it is easy, it is less time consuming to solve a DI set, provided it is not logical in nature. Okay, so you have to pick the ones wherein like if something is based on percentages, averages, ratio, or Venn diagram. So the basics, if you know these, right, then definitely those sets are better to do, and you score in bulk, then less time per question, and relatively easy concepts, right? Percentage का concept सभी को आता है, right? Percentage increase, you just have to see the graph and find those percentage increase, or like if sometimes they might ask you ratio or some Venn diagram based set, right? So those can be done in a better way as compared to other other stuff, right? So maybe you might find an algebra question challenging, or maybe a geometry question quite challenging, right? But at the same time, if you see these DI sets, they would be comparatively easy. In less time you gain more marks. Okay, if your concepts are equally good, this is a time saving technique. And out of the 3 sets, you could find that 1 or 2 sets, 2 sets at least would be easy, one could be a challenging one. So you may decide to skip that set. Anyway, you will spend some time reading the set and decide that, okay, this is the one that is I'm going to skip, or this is the one I'm going to do. Suppose you have 2 plus 3 plus 3. Okay, so this is easy, this is moderate, this is difficult. You can do those 2 sets. So you're done with 5 questions, right? Then you have to solve another maybe 4 or 5 questions to clear the cutoff. Okay. All right. So let us see this set. This was from XAT 2020. Okay, it says that the line graph below depicts sector-wise percentage contributions to the GDP of 9 nations labeled A to I. So there are 9 nations labeled A to I, and these are disguised as, and these are the names of these countries: Brazil, China, France, Germany, India, Japan, Russia, UK, and US. These are the 9 countries, and they are labeled as A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. These are disguised ones, right? They have not mentioned which country is which one. Okay, and they have given you certain more instructions. So using that, we will have to figure out that which is which country. Okay, so GDP of these countries in $1 trillion are given as these, right? These are the GDPs of these 9 countries. And then some more instructions are given. China has the highest agriculture sector GDP valued at rupees 1 trillion. Okay, followed respectively by the USA and India. And in terms of percentage contribution to the respective nations' GDP by the service sectors, the UK and France are respectively the first and the second. Nation A, B, and G have the same GDP. The GDP of India's industry sector is lower than the GDP of Russia's industry sector. However, it is larger than that of Brazil's industry sector. Okay, so these are the conditions given to us. So, like the first question was, how many nations can you identify out of these? So try this and try to identify how many nations can you mark. So please tell me which country will be which by reading these statements and applying them. So 9 countries are given to us and some data is given to us. Try to identify how many countries can you identify. You can match with their names using these instructions. Where should we start from? China A. No, not A. Second condition, right? Read the second condition that is not matching with it. The value should match 1 trillion. No, it is not saying the percentage one, right? It is saying the absolute value. So in the second statement, it is not talking about the percentage value. You are reading the percentage value. No, it is saying that, I mean, in absolute terms, right? China has the highest agriculture sector GDP valued at 1 trillion. Okay. Now China is easy to identify. So 1 trillion and find of these which will make 1 trillion. So 10 ka 10% is 1. Right, 10 ka 10% is 1, that you can easily map. So China is F. Okay, so China is done. This is China. Okay, better than that, let's read this statement, fourth one, right? The fourth condition, it says A, B, and G have the same GDP. Three countries का same GDP है, right? Which are the three countries? Brazil, India, and Russia. Okay, ब्रिक्स कंट्री के बारे में सब कुछ दिया है, राइट? सो रशिया, ब्राजील एंड इंडिया. Okay, GDP of India's industry sector is lower than that of Russia's industry sector. It is larger than that of Brazil's industry sector. So Russia का industry sector इंडिया के इंडस्ट्री सेक्टर से बड़ा है और इंडिया का इंडस्ट्री सेक्टर ब्राजील के इंडस्ट्री सेक्टर से बड़ा है, राइट? सो नाउ 2-3 of them, Brazil, India and Russia are among A, B and G. A, B and G. ओके, जब तीनों का साइज बड़ा है तो डायरेक्टली परसेंटेज से निकल आएगा ये रेशियो, ठीक है? आई मीन यू विल गेट दिस वैल्यू यूजिंग परसेंटेज, राइट? सो रशिया विल बी बी because out of these three A, B, G, you see that Russia 35%, 30% and 23. So obviously this will be Russia, right? So Russia is B, India is A, and nation G is your Brazil. Okay, 4 countries we have found out thus far. What else can we find? If you read, so we've used fourth, fifth, second, right? The third statement is left, right? In terms of percentage contribution to the respective nations' GDP by their service sectors, UK and France are respectively first and second. First and second in what terms? Percentage contribution to GDP, right? So services, ठीक है? Services में सबसे ज़्यादा किसका है? 79, right? So that is UK. Okay, D is UK, and France is second. So France is H. Okay, so that makes things clear. Now, can we find any other country? We have not used this part. Okay, China has the highest agriculture sector GDP valued at 1 trillion. So we know for China, we have not calculated for US and India. So can you tell which of these, can we find US also from this? Can we find US from this? So it says that China has the highest agriculture sector GDP. So China का कितना agriculture में? 1 trillion. Okay. And then it is US and then India. We know India, right? We know India is A, right? India का कितना आ रहा है? 17% of 2, that is 0.34, right? So China is followed by USA, followed by India. So that means USA का agriculture spend should be between 1 and 0.34, right? It should be between 1 and 0.34. Suppose we take US as C. Okay, if I take US as C, so 17 into 3 is 0.51. If I take C, okay. If I take E, it will be 0.85. Okay. If I take I, it will be 0.17. So that means I cannot be US, right? So US can be C or E. Okay. Now Germany and Japan, no such information is given to us. So for how many countries can we uniquely determine, how many of these countries can uniquely be determined? So that was the question. I would rate this moderate, not difficult, rather, because uh, one of the two questions I can say that like it required reading of data carefully. So these are the countries that could be determined. So there are 6 countries that can uniquely be determined. Okay. Next question. Based on the given information, which of the following cannot be ruled out? Which of the following cannot be ruled out? What does it mean? Now, people sometimes have difficulty in understanding this. What does this sentence mean? Now we have figured out 6 out of the 9 countries. We do not know about 3. Okay. Now, if it says Russia is cannot be ruled out means, right, it's a double negative, right? So like you have that the agree would the author would like to agree all of the following except, so like that kind of thing. So it says that which of the following cannot be ruled out means which of the following possibility can be true. ठीक है, रूल आउट मीन्स हम रिमूव कर देते हैं कि ये गलत है. सो इट मीन्स दैट विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग कुड बी ट्रू, राइट? सो रशिया इज नेशन जी, Russia is of course B, right? So that means that this is ruled out, right? This is ruled out. We have to find which is not ruled out. So which could be true? ठीक है, not necessary but could be true. ठीक है, US is nation I, that we have ruled out, right? That we figured out that US cannot be nation I. So these two can be ruled out. Okay, Japan is nation E. We are not sure about nation E, right? So that cannot be ruled out. Okay, now the question is tricky. They've given such a language that people sometimes get confused at what it is asking. It is basically asking which of the following could be true. Indirect way of saying which of the following could be true. These can be ruled out because we figured this is B and this we know that US cannot be I. Okay, so sometimes what mistake people make is they read the first option, they say acha ye galat hai, so let us mark this as the answer. Okay, so you need to be careful with the wordings. Now India is nation B, yes, that is incorrect. and China is nation C, that is also incorrect. So all these four are incorrect. This cannot be ruled out because it can be true. It can be, it cannot be. So we cannot rule this possibility. Okay, now this question is tough, right? The question is tough because lengthy to read, too much information given. It says, which of the following, when considered in addition to the given information, does not allow us to completely identify the 9 nations in the graph, right? So again, a negative question, right? It is saying that which of the following apart from the given information does not allow us to completely identify. So what does it mean कि बाकी चार options में you will be able to identify the 9 nations, but one of the options will not help you identify the 9 nations. So these questions become tricky, right? I mean the individual questions. First question was easy. Apart from these, two questions are tricky in terms of language. So these were the countries. So evaluate options one after the other and find out that which of the following is does not allow us to find the 9 nations. Yeah, so 4 will allow, 1 will not allow. So we have to spot that option. And the countries left here are A, B, C is left. Okay, I is left and E are left. So these 3 countries were left. So which option will not allow us to identify these countries? So let us see the first option. The first option says both Japan's and Germany's industries GDP are more than 1 trillion. Okay. So read this, it is saying more than 1 trillion. So Germany and Japan, the countries left are C, E and I, and industry is this. Suppose I take Germany. Okay. Germany is 4 trillion. If I take 25%, this does not suit with Germany. Okay, if I take 20%, this does not suit with Germany. So that means Germany is this. Okay, Japan is also more than 1 trillion. So if I take 20%, Japan will be exactly 1 trillion, not more than. Okay, so it means this is Japan and this is USA. Right, from option 1, I can find out. So that is not the answer. Now, if I take the second one, it says that Germany's industry GDP is 1.2 trillion. If I say Germany's industrial GDP is 1.2 trillion, so that means Germany is this 30%, right? 4 ka 30%. So that will give me Germany is this. But what about US and Japan, right? I cannot find out because no further information is known. हमें पता था US is not I, so US is still unidentifiable, right? Among C and E, it could be anyone. So the answer is option B. Now, in the examination scenario, if you have got the answer in earlier options, right? अभी आप E option तक गए नहीं हो, 5 options है, second option में answer आ गया, mark the answer and move ahead, right? Don't waste time in checking the other options. ठीक है? That is the tendency of some students, वो check करते हैं. ठीक है? अगर option B में सही answer आ गया, so why do check? But yes, for your satisfaction, we will check it now. Japan's industry GDP is 1.25 trillion. Japan is 5. Okay? So if it is 1.25 trillion, so that will be Japan. Right? Now, if this is Japan, this cannot be US. So this will be US. This will be Germany. Again, this will help us find out uniquely. Option C. Okay. D, in terms of percentage contribution to the respective nation's GDP, France and Japan's agriculture sectors contribute the same. Right? So agriculture for France and Japan is same. So we already know that France is H. So again, this will give us nation C as Japan, right? So again, the same thing that we are getting is nation C is Japan. So if this is Japan, right, this will be US, this will be Germany. So again, D cannot help. D will help us identify all countries uniquely. E says the nation ranked fourth in terms of agriculture GDP has its agriculture GDP valued at US 150 billion. Okay, in terms of agriculture GDP. अब agriculture GDP निकालना पड़ेगा हमें. Right. So agriculture GDP, we know that what was India was 0.34 now. India was 0.34 and India was third in the rank. So the fourth rank, whichever country it is 150 billion or 0.15 trillion, right? So now let us see. If I put Germany right at this, I do not get 1.5 trillion. If I put Germany here, not 1.5, not 0.15 trillion. If I put Germany here, I do not get it, right? So US cannot be, of course, not be the country. So again, this will give you the same result that Japan is 3% because 3% rakhoge 5 trillion ka, you will get 150 billion. 0.15 trillion, that is 150 billion. Okay, so again that helps us uniquely identify all the countries. Okay, so this was a difficult question. Now the lucky thing is, I mean, I don't know how are the keys arranged. Maybe it was option E, then a person would have gone mad, right, checking each of the options and then identifying acha E answer hai. But if it was option B, then it's a good thing that you are lucky you got in the second trial itself, and then you should not check other options. Okay, so here we checked all other options are false because they help us identify the 9 nations, but this does not help us identify. So the identifying the countries was okay. I won't rate it very difficult, but the questions, the language of the questions was difficult to comprehend and then obviously solve. So I would rate is moderate to difficult. Okay, not at all easy. Okay, so I hope you are enjoying this class. Right, so let us see a set from 2021. Now this was a difficult one. Okay, it was like इसको solve करते समय याद आ गया यार, this is something like CAT DI, not XAT DI. Okay, so let us read this and solve it. It says a company awards incentive to its employees for successful project performances. It rates successful project performances in categories A star, A, B and C. तो 4 categories हैं, A star, A, B और C. Employees in the solo projects rated A star, A, B and C are awarded incentives 6 lakh, 5 lakh, 3 lakh and 1 lakh respectively. तो 4 categories हैं, A star, right, A, B, C. ठीक है, इसमें 5 लाख का इनाम मिलता है, इसमें 3 लाख का इनाम मिलता है, 2 लाख नहीं 6, 5, 3 और 1 लाख का प्राइस मिलता है, right? So you get this price if you do these projects, if you are getting this rating of the projects. Okay, when a project has multiple team members, the following scheme is used to award the incentives. Now अगर एक मेंबर है प्रोजेक्ट में, सो उसको पूरी अमाउंट मिल जाएगी, बट if there are 2 members or 3 members, 4 members or more than 4 members, what is the structure is 90% goes to the team leader and other members get 70%. So that means 160%. ठीक है, 90 प्लस एक अदर मेंबर होगा उसको 70% मिलेगा, तो टोटल टीम को मिल जाएगा 160%. Okay, if there are 3 members, so team leader will get 80 plus 50 plus 50, so 180% मिल जाएगा if there is a team of 3 people. Okay, then if you have a team of 4 people, then the leader will get 70% and 40% each means 120, that is 190% of total. Okay, now if there are more than 4 people, then every member including the team leader also, they will get 200 by n%, where n is the number of team members, right? So if there are 5 people, so each will get 40%. If there are 7 people, so 200 by 7%. A में मिलना चाहिए 5 lakhs. Okay, if there are 3 members, ठीक है, अगर 3 members होंगे तो क्या होगा कि जो लीडर होगा he will get 4 lakhs, 80% मिल गया 4 lakhs, and the other team members get 2.5 lakh each. So this will get 2.5, another person will also get 2.5. So इस टेबल से देख लो 180% हो रहा है, right? If you talk about the total amount distributed, 180% of 5 lakhs is 9 lakhs, right, which is 4 plus 2.5 plus 2.5, right? So this is something that you had to figure out, that this is the percentage of amount that will be distributed. Now there are 6 employees, they receive a total of 45 lakhs in incentives, ठीक है, सब उनको मिला के total 45 lakhs मिले, right, by participating in a total of 8 different projects that does not involve any other person. So there were 8 projects, okay, 45 lakh, only these people were involved in those. Not all 6 employees are involved in all 8 projects. The following are additionally known about these 8 projects. So not necessary that all people were involved in the projects. Okay. It says one project involves all 6 members, 4 projects involve 3 each, and the rest 2 each. एक project था जिसमें 6 के 6 लोग थे. 4 projects had 3 members. ये 5 project हो गए. And the remaining 3 projects have 2 members each. Now this was a beautiful set. I mean, very good set with I mean a good test of numbers. Like in CAD, you generally get these kind of sets. Okay. Now this, see, if you are not very comfortable with solving such kind of data interpretation, such questions should not have been done in the examination. But yes, if you are good with aptitude, right, if you have done well in CAT also, you have seen कि अच्छा मैं CAT के DILR भी हो जाते थे मुझसे, then this is a must set. Okay, you should do this. But in case कुछ लोगों को होता है कि ठीक है बहुत complicated, इतनी बहुत बड़ी information, right? Now this is something that I was talking about, time versus question trade off. No, this is not that. ठीक है, इससे अच्छा तो 3 question कर लोगे. But अगर कुछ मतलब कुछ आसान भी DI आता है, नॉट टेकन दोस, जिसमें टेबल से सीधे वैल्यूज निकालनी होती है, या ग्राफ दिया होता है, स्कैटर ग्राफ दिया है, सीधी वैल्यूज कैलकुलेट करनी है, परसेंटेजेस, दोस आर द वंस दैट मस्ट बी डन. ठीक है, ऐसे सेट जनरली अवॉइड करने चाहिए अनलेस यू आर सम प्रो. ठीक है, अब a person like me will definitely do these sets because we like enjoying doing these things, right? Okay, so if a person like me skips such kind of set, then that should be something not good for me, right? But for if a person who is not so great at DI, right, such kind of logical DI should not be doing this. Okay, so ये दिया है कि ये 8 तरह के project, then exactly 3 projects are rated as C, for which a total of 4.8 lakh is paid. ठीक है, 3 प्रोजेक्ट हैं जिनमें 4.8 लाख पे करा और वो रेट सी किए गए. सी में मतलब 3 लाख पर प्रोजेक्ट. ठीक है, 3 लाख का 4.8 लाख पे हुआ है, एंड ओनली 1 प्रोजेक्ट इज रेटेड एज ए स्टार. नाउ अब इसे करने का तरीका क्या है? सी, 6 लोग होंगे तो 200% अमाउंट पे हुई होगी. ठीक है, व्हेन देयर आर 3 पीपल, अमाउंट पेड विल बी 180%. And if there are 2 people, 160% of the amount will be paid. Okay. Now it says 3 projects are rated C. 3 project को C rating मिली थी and they were paid 4.8 lakhs. Now how can you pay 4.8 lakhs in 3 projects? See, if you take one project, like minimum payment, if you see from these options, is 4.8. If you put all of these 3 in 2.2, this of 2 member team, 1.6, minimum you will get 4.8. ठीक है, अगर ज्यादा आ रहा होता then you would have thought कि अच्छा किस कैटेगरी में होगा. This is evident, right? All these 3 people will be in these 3 projects are C category because 4.8. If you take any one as 1.8, अगर आप एक प्रोजेक्ट को भी 1.8 दे देते हो, 1.8 times, right, that is like 1.180%. Then second, if you give 1.6 and 1.6, right, you get 5, right, which is greater than 4.8. So minimum if you give, you get this, right? So total 3 lakh का 4.8 बनाना है. So all these 3 should be in this category. ठीक है, तो एक चीज सॉर्ट आउट हो गई. अब क्या करना है? There is one project which is rated A star. Okay, so now we will find कि A star वाला कौन सा प्रोजेक्ट होगा, ये वाले में होगा या ये वाले में होगा. Now if you subtract, so इनमें कितना खर्चा आ गया? 4.8. total amount that was given was 45 lakhs. Okay, so I'll just hide myself. So total amount थी 45 lakhs. ठीक है, जिसमें से 4.8 पेड हो गई. अब कितनी बची? 40.2 lakhs. We have to spend 40.2 lakhs. Okay, now one project is rated A star. अब A star या तो यहाँ हो सकता है या यहाँ हो सकता है, right? Either it will have 6-member team or it will have 3-member team. Okay, now if I assign 6-member team, so let us take a case that I assign 6-member team. So अगर मैं 6-member team में A star देता हूँ तो कितना spend आएगा? 200% of 6 lakh, यानी कि 12 lakh का expense आ जाएगा. I'll have an expense of 12 lakhs, so I will be left with 28.2 lakhs. Okay, now this is 180%. ठीक है, 180% of some integer values. ठीक है, so try dividing this by 1.8. Do you get an integer value? If we divide 282 by 18, we do not get any integer value. 18 into 15 is 270. Okay, 18 into 16 is 288. Right, we are not getting any integer value. So that means our assumption that this is A star is incorrect. Right, so this is how we will reject this scenario. So now A star will be in this category. Okay, ये जो हमने लिया था ये गलत हो गया. So A star is in this category. A star आ गया. अब A star का कितना बन जाएगा? 10.8. Instead of 40.2, it will be 10.8. So now you will be left with 29.4. इतना बजट बच गया 29.4. Okay. Now अब कौन सी कैटेगरी में हो गए? A star का एक ही है, C के 3 है. So either it is A or B. ठीक है, it is either A or B. अगर A, suppose if I put A here, ठीक है, अगर मैं इसको A दे देता हूं, so again if I subtract then it will mean that 10 lakh. ठीक है, if I subtract 10 lakh from it, what I get? 19.4. अब यहाँ पे 3 प्रोजेक्ट बच रहे हैं. ठीक है, and it is 180%. Can I divide by 1.8 and get an integer? Will I get an integer? No, I will not. Okay, so that means this is not A. तो ये हो जाएगा B वाला प्रोजेक्ट. This project will be project B. Right, so this is how we do it. So if this is project B, so instead of 29.4 minus 29.4 minus 6, because B is 3 lakhs. ठीक है, B is 3 lakhs, so this team will get 6 lakhs. So you are left with 23.4. Can we divide it by 1.8? Yes, it gives us the answer as 13. 13 into 18 is 234. Right, so that means the total amount for these 3 projects is 13 lakhs. ठीक है, the original amount, because if we take 180% of this, we get 23.4 lakhs. अब 13 कैसे बन सकता है? Only possibility that you see is 5 plus 5 plus 3. So that means 2 projects of A and 1 project of B. So this is how we solve this set. Now definitely, like, it gives you that feel कि अरे यार ये तो CAT में आता है. Right, very logic intensive. Right, you have to play with numbers, right, ruling out the possibilities and then getting to the eventual calculation. So definitely ये तो वही जो CAT वाले सेट होता है ना, जो 15 मिनट ले लेते हैं. So it would, for a normal student, it will easily take beyond 15 minutes. Right, so if you are average student, right, and find such kind of things challenging, these sets are not meant for you. But yes, if you are someone who scored, जिनके CAT में DILR में 30 plus score आया है, right, and you've done great, so you know, okay, you are good at solving these sets, then go ahead and solve these sets. Okay, so very lengthy, requires good sound approach, good speed to solve. ठीक है, good observation skills, calculations, etc. to solve this. Okay, so this is how we solve this. So I hope you got to understand कैसे किया हमने solve. I explained it quite well in elaborate manner. Okay. Now the questions that we get is, what best is known about the team composition of the projects rated C? C वाली टीम कौन सी थी? C वाली was a 2-member team जिसके दो members थे, right? So question ये half solve करके आंसर हो सकता था, ठीक है, क्योंकि वो स्टार्टिंग में निकाल दिया था C वाला, ठीक है. सो इसको हम, if you ever try to attempt a set और आधा करके छोड़ते हो तो क्वेश्चंस देख लिया करो. So this was something that could have been answered earlier, okay, even without making all those complicated calculations कि कितना subtract होगा and all. That was the easiest thing. Second question is, what best is known about the team composition for the project rated A star? A star के लिए क्या चीज है? A star was the 3-member team. ठीक है, 3-member team थी ना. A star 3 members में थी. And the next question is, total amount of money paid for projects rated A in lakh rupees is. So how much money was paid for projects rated A? So project rated A, we saw that there were 2 projects that were rated A. Okay, and this had 3 members each. Lakhs. So 9 plus 9, total 18 lakhs was given to those people. Okay, so this is the solution and the answers to the questions. Okay, so I really enjoyed this set, right? Really a great set. But yes, I mean, something that should not be the first choice in the paper, right? So you should try to avoid such things if you encounter this in the paper, right? Because time consuming thing. Okay, unless you have done everything and that this is the only thing that you know how to do in the paper, then you should go ahead with these questions. Okay. All right, so I hope you enjoyed these questions, right? The 2 sets that we discussed, and I mean, you got to know that what kind of sets you should be skipping in the paper, okay, and which ones to be attempting. अब ये skip वाले difficult वाले दिख गए तो attempt वाले समझ में आ जाना चाहिए. In those go through the past year papers 20, 21, 19, 18 4 साल के देख लो, समझ में आ जाएगा कौन कौन से सेट करने लायक होते हैं, जिनमें सीधे वैल्यूज कैलकुलेट करनी होती है, परसेंटेज इंक्रीज एंड ऑल दोज थिंग्स कैन बी डन इन द पेपर. एंड रेस्ट जो ऐसे आ गए कैंट टाइप के, सो ट्राई टू अवॉइड सच क्वेश्चंस इन द पेपर. ओके, अगर आसान डीआई सेट आता है, डेफिनेटली डू दैट, दैट इज बेटर देन सॉल्विंग क्वांट क्वेश्चंस. एंड इफ यू गेट सच काइंड ऑफ डीआई सेट्स, right, try avoiding those sets, better go for quant questions in that case, right, from your favorite topic, right? So you get questions, ample questions from different topics. जो अच्छा लगता है, geometry अच्छी लगती है, geometry करो, but make sure that geometry you have solid concepts, because good number of questions are asked from geometry in XAT. ये 5-6 question minimum आएंगे geometry से. Okay, so here that's it for today's class. I hope you liked the sets, and also you understood that what type of questions to attempt in the examination, which ones to skip, right, and why DI is solving DI can be a beneficial thing, but yes, at the same time do not involve in such kind of sets in the examination, right? देखो अभी करने पे हो जाएगा, but exam time पे that will be even more difficult. Okay, so refrain from such complicated sets. Otherwise कुछ आसान से आते हैं उनको करो, ठीक है, जिसमें बहुत ज्यादा डेटा नहीं दिया है. वैसे ग्राफ बेस्ड भी आते हैं सेट, ठीक है, एवरी ईयर यू गेट, जिसमें ग्राफ दिया होता है, उससे वैल्यूज निकालनी होती है, और कुछ ऐसे केसलेट या तो वेन डायग्राम या कुछ ऐसा आता है, दैट इज क्वाइट मच डूएबल. सो टू डीआई सेट्स, 5 to 6 क्वेश्चंस, गुड इनफ. बाकी जो सेक्शन है उसमें से कुछ क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर लो, you can clear the cutoff easily. Okay, all right, so thanks for watching this class. Have a great night. Goodbye.